So in this video, we're going to talk about the Ikigai, which is an old Japanese term for a reason for being. So essentially, it's your life purpose, what you live for, what you get up in the morning for, i.e. what it is you love to do. This is broken down into several key elements. The first being, what do you love? The second, what the world needs. The third, what can you be paid for? And the fourth, what are you good at? In combination, these four elements present your passion, your mission, your vocation, and your profession. And at the center of all these things combined, you have your Ikigai, your life purpose. So do what you love, be happy, vibrate at the highest level, share with others, don't be afraid. You can start small, but take the necessary steps to fulfilling your Ikigai and watch the magic take place. Here's a lovely clip explaining it in a bit more detail.
Hello, good morning. I'll start my talk with a slide which is a cartoon. It's a cartoon which is almost existential in nature. It talks about our predicament. There are two kids here. There's a boy and a girl. And the girl, they are playing what we call house. And the girl is asking the boy, what do you want to be when you give up? Not when you grow up. Because half or maybe sometimes the whole life is spent doing things which we were not supposed to do or which we don't like to do. We grow up doing what our parents want us to do, or what our neighbors want us to do, or what the society wants us to do, or what the peers want us to do. Actually, we don't want to do it. And we waste the whole life doing what others want to do. So how do you get it right? How do you avoid the debacle? The Japanese have a word for it. They call it the Ikigai. Ikigai is actually the confluence of four different things. The thing that you do, are you passionate about it? Are you good at it? Can you earn a decent livelihood out of it? And more importantly, does the world need it? If all these four things happen, they kind of come together, you have found your Ikigai. So my entire talk today is about finding your Ikigai. How did I find my Ikigai? It was a strange incident that made me see my Ikigai or find my Ikigai. I'll give you a little bit about my background. I studied in a school which had Malayalam as the medium till class 4. From class 5, it became English, and Malayalam continued as my second language, Hindi as my third language. When I went on to study in Ruia, do my MA in English, I picked up Marathi. So I could write in 4 different languages, and I could speak in 4 different languages. That actually complicated my life because I started writing in these languages, acting in plays, directing plays. I was a school teacher for a while. I gave my voice for documentaries in films division. I did all kinds of things. And by the age of 26, I was thoroughly confused. I didn't know what to do with my life because I could do so many things. I wanted to become a professor. I couldn't get a job. I wanted to become a journalist. I couldn't get a job. Accidentally, I landed in advertising. And I liked it. 28 years I continued in this field of advertising as a copywriter till one day that thing happened. What was? I met an elephant in the jungles of Mudumalai. Just outside Mudumalai actually, a place called Masinagudi. He was already there inside the forest. I walked 3 kilometers deep into the forest towards him. And there was my cousin, Manu Menon, who was with me, and a guide. So 3 of us, we went deep into the forest to basically photograph wildlife. And there he was, waiting for me. He didn't know whether I had come to shoot or I had come to shoot. So he decided to attack. And we started running in a chronological order. So the guide who was 32, he was first. My cousin who was 40, he was second. I was 52, I was third. So I was a sitting duck for an elephant, if you understand what I mean. So the elephant gored me on my back, on my lower back. It was a deep gash. I had to travel 2.5 hours by car to reach Kunur, where 18 stitches were put on my back. And I survived. I survived to tell the story of surviving an elephant. What happened was, I met a guy called Isaac. Isaac Kehimkar is a butterfly expert of BNHS. I met him in Sanjay Gandhi National Park, our own city forest. And as we were walking towards Salim Ali Point, which is the highest point in Sanjay Gandhi National Park, I told him casually, "Hey Isaac, you know what happened? I survived an elephant attack, yaar." He said, "What are you saying? 30 years I have been in the field of conservation. I haven't heard of a single guy who has survived an elephant attack and come back to tell the story. Why don't you write about it?" That kind of, rang a bell. For 28 years, I was writing for somebody else. I was writing for advertising agencies. Finally, I said, this is my second birth. It's every day is a bonus. Let me do exactly what I want to do. I didn't know the word Ikigai then, but I realized two of the best things that happened in my life. One happened when I was 21, when I taught in a school for 1 year. The second happened when I was 23. I made a documentary on Silent Valley, which helped preserve that forest forever. Even now it is there. The documentary was one of the reasons, many reasons why that forest is preserved. So I said, let me go back to my roots and do exactly what I want to do, which is teaching and travel. So finally, I got a job as a teacher. I teach in an art college called Rachana Sansad. And I do travel photography and travel writing, which is basically my first and second love, which is my Ikigai. So I have about 120 articles published in the leading newspapers of India, some of which have been converted into 2 books that I have published. One is Evergreen Leaves. I will quickly show you the photographs because it has 30 articles and 55 photographs. Some photographs I will show you. These are all taken by me and the articles were written by me. These are just the photographs. This is actually a human form I found in a tree in Silent Valley. The second book is a book called Tales of a Driftwood, which has got mostly wildlife, but only 70%. The rest of it is anthropological stories and stories about tribes and historical places and all that. That book is in black and white. It has 36 articles or stories. This I call a zebra crossing. I found it in Tanzania. This is actually a very interesting game. This is in Malaysia. There is a cave which is about 320 feet in height and 200 feet across. It's supposed to be the largest cave opening in the whole world. 25 lakh bats come out of the cave every day and go 20 kilometers away to feed overnight and come back the next day morning. So I found a they happen in waves, one after the other. So I found a wave which is actually looking like a bird. It was serendipity, accident. So my point is, don't make things happen. But when they are about to happen, don't prevent them. Many times, when it is about to happen, so it's actually, there's a beautiful poem by Kabir. He says, "Dheere dheere re mana, dheere sab kuch hoye. Mali siiche 100 ghada, ritu aaye phal hoye." It so beautifully says, "Oh mind, chill out. Don't be in a hurry." things take their own time. Even if a gardener pours 100 pots of water every day, the tree will fruit only during the fruiting season. So beautifully it's explained. And my advice to the youngsters here is don't let money choose your career. Aajkal, the moment you pass out, salary kitna milega? First question, will I get an opportunity to learn there? I have a student here, my junior colleague, who actually came and never even asked me money. I hired him. He's here in the audience. The thing is, those days, we never used to ask how much will we get. Today, money is the guiding force behind career options. You will never find your Ikigai. I can guarantee you that. I'll tell you a beautiful story by Osho. Osho is Rajneesh. He talks about an old man. He's a 70-year-old man, very rich man, who started working 50 years ago, which means when he was 20. So he wanted to retire. So he said, let me find out how much I have earned. So he put a munim on the job, and the munim said, give me 3 months. Time lagne wala hai. So he said, okay, take your time. So after 3 months, Munimji came and said, boss, it's very difficult to tell in terms of figure how much you have and what assets you have. I can tell you so much. You have earned enough money for 4 generations to live happily. He said, oh God, what about the 5th? And he started working all over again. so there's no limit, there's no end to desiring for money. So don't let it be a starting point also. Okay? So my point is, find your Ikigai. I found it when I was 52. Find it as early as possible, because you should not wait for the elephant. You may not survive. I did, but risky, boss. So on that happy note,